Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to First Center. I can see some of your smiling faces. It's always good to be here on Thursday. Thursdays are Louise class, our class where we deal with self-esteem. We deal with learning to love ourselves. This is the place where we meet our new members at the center. It's the place where most people show up initially. So I'm pastor of the center in New York. I want to welcome everybody onto the Zoom call, all the faces I see, and it's a growing number of people we're seeing. We have a team of people here, Jimmy and Anthony and Harte and Suzu, who are handling all the inbound requests each week. And send us your contact information if you're watching us on media so we can invite you into the Zoom call. Because both on Thursday and Sunday, there's a time after the call where people share, and oftentimes that's the best part of the group. When I was doing these groups, when the book You Can Heal Your Life came out in the mid-'80s, I was the initiator, but what was really most interesting was the feedback and the things that people were sharing. So we try to have that component to be a part of everything we do at the center. We currently meet on Sunday mornings and as well as Thursday with our self-healing class, our Louise class, and we will be doing other classes in the next month or so. So stay tuned. If we have your contact information, we can send you an email with all our spiritual gems and things you can use. We also have people like myself, Reverend Judith, and others. If you're in need of some type of guidance, spiritual counseling, we are available for that as well. So we're going to get into the lesson. Again, if you're watching on one of the other platforms, if you send us a request, we can give you a link to the Zoom. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about releasing our needs, releasing the things within ourselves that have held us back to living the life that we could have lived. We're going to take a look at some of our negative situations. We're going to, first of all, begin to understand why they're even there and how they got there and how we maintain them. And then we'll have a little bit of a discussion of what we can do to release the different things that are going on within us that keep on defeating us. And I want to introduce the idea that everything that's in our life is in our life for a reason. And once you start to understand that, then you can understand that you can release the need for that experience. Because if it's there because of something going on in our consciousness. And of course, I'm making a big assumption here that those people who are connecting to a metaphysical class, a self-empowerment class, I'm making an assumption that you want to get past your past. I'm making an assumption that you want to evolve and you want to grow. Now, if you don't want to evolve and you don't want to grow, then this may not be the class for you. Because this class is about reminding you of the power that you have at your disposal, that you can actually move through things and affect a change in your life. You'll see as you get more and more involved with what we call the work, right? As you get more involved with the work, that much of what is happening to us is a reflection of our thoughts, our thinking, and the things that we have allowed and or accepted into our life. Meaning we really can't be living our lives talking about what people have done to us. What my parents have done to us, my girlfriend has done to us, my boss has done to us. I've lived my life that way for a number of years, and I did it in ignorance. But the thing is, if I'm making my life about somebody else, what they've done, what they're doing, and all of that, what I'm not realizing is I continue to allow, I'm still allowing certain things to happen. So Louise would have said, we're each 100% responsible for our experiences. She was never suggesting that anybody was to blame for their life, but she was just saying, it plays out according to a law of correspondence. And if you want to have the outer change, then really the inner dialogue that's ever so important that we talk about every Thursday night is the thing that needs to change. So we help with this every single Thursday night. Louise Hay said simply, all healing that any of us have is self-healing. So tonight I want to start out by saying Louise was a student of this church, of this center in New York. And we studied Lessons in Truth from many different sources. Most of Louise Hay's inspiration came from a man by the name of Ernest Holmes. Many of you don't know who he is, but he wrote a textbook and he wrote other books, and they were really wonderful transformational books. Ernest Holmes spoke about a lot of, spoke a lot of learning to live the affirmative life. He said, find me one person who's for something and against nothing, and I will find the Redeemer of my soul. If you can imagine yourself that you were such a positive person in the world that you're really seeing the good, the God in everybody, can you imagine what your life would be like? So Holmes was saying, find me one person who's so redeemed from the bondage of self, and I'm going to behold another Christ. I'm going to behold, because really our work is to become like that, where we're looking to see the good. I play with the word good in God. We're looking to see that in all things and all the time. And it's a tall order. It's really easy to see what's wrong. We're trained to see what's wrong. But if you're looking to level up and understand that you live in a spiritual system and you're one with this system, and you can level up to a much higher place, you'll level up by beginning to see that there's a unitary field, Deepak Chopra would say, a unitary field of energy in God, and you're a part of it. And it responds to you. So we have classes on this one subject of learning to live the affirmative life every single week. And every Sunday morning, essentially, we're doing the same thing. We're just presented a little bit differently. Holmes was talking about a process, an internal process. Now, some of you might call it a prayer. Others might think of it as a guided process where you're involved with interior dialogue and of correction and affirmation and correction. We currently refer to it as affirmative prayer. Other people have called it treatment. It's been called many things. I've had teachers over the years who have referred to this process as the crown jewel of our teaching. That was Dr. Jane Claypool. She said this affirmative process is the crown jewel of what we do. Because within yourself, you have the ability to correct anything, any false idea. You can refute it, you can denounce it, you can replace it. You have tremendous power at your disposal. It's very, very powerful when you learn how to use it. Do you see? Each of you and us are all centers of spiritual activity. Each of us have unimaginable power at our disposal. And this affirmative prayer process can help you use the power that you have far more effectively. This affirmative prayer process can help you create in consciousness wonderful things, and it can open you up in consciousness to see possibilities far beyond anything you know right now. It can open you up to live a life that's fuller, happier, with more joy, more health, and much more success. So I wanted to at least mention tonight that there is a process, and we do teach it here, and there's an affirmative prayer process, and you can learn how to do it. We have other classes where we will explain it in greater detail. Any of the practitioners here or ministers can teach it to you. You don't need to study it for years. The whole idea is life is responding to you. So we have a process that we can utilize that you can keep working with it. And so you can demonstrate good and good all the time. If you find that you're in a self-healing class, which is what this is, chances are most people, if you're in a class like this, have heard of affirmations. Affirmations are wonderful tools, Louise Hay would have said, to help you shift your consciousness. They're very, very helpful. I used to have sticky notes on mirrors and magnets on refrigerators. with lots of affirmations that if they were repeated long enough and that I could bring them to a point where I would actually believe them, I would start to have what's called a demonstration. But affirmative prayer is a little bit more than that. Affirmative prayer takes the whole process to a deeper level. In other words, the affirmative prayer is not done until you've just had a shift in consciousness where you deeply, deeply know, and you connect with the words that you have spoken, where you take it to the point beyond belief. You can energetically feel it. So I'm going to refer to Ernest Holmes in his textbook, the Science of Mind textbook, and share with you just a few words to better describe what I'm talking about. You see, most human beings carry around a lot of negatives. And it's nobody's fault, right? So first thing is, forget the blame game. But we carry around a lot of negatives, and we've learned it. We learned it through our family. We learned it with little kids. We absorbed it from our families, our grandparents, our tribe, whatever the tribe was, and they passed on to us the best of what they knew. We all came in with a lot of information that we really didn't have any choice with. It was just part of what was presented to us. And for the most part, it was well intended, and it was to keep you safe, and it was the best people had. I remember my mother in her 70s, and I had a conversation with her a few years before she passed away, and she said, "Greg, if I knew all then that I know now, I would have told you, it would have been much different." But when my mother was 22 and she had me, she gave me what she had. When she was 70, she was a wiser person, and she would have done it differently. And so would have I, and so would have everybody on this call. People are doing the best they can with what they got. And they gave us what they gave us, and it was hopefully, in most cases, it was to keep us safe so that we could be successful in life. We absorb lots of information, when we get into our younger years, young teenagers, we absorb, and we still absorb. So we have a lot of opinions. And a lot of the opinions we have may not be to our highest and best. They may not be right. You might recall from You Can Heal Your Life, Louise Hay, where she said, every thought you think is creating your future. Now that's really a simple statement, but it's a powerful statement. In other words, my thoughts are creating my life, and I can create, Judith's on the call, I can create her to be wonderful, I can create her to be terrible, I can create anybody to be anything I want to be. And I do all the time. You are always creating people to be this, that, or the other thing. Our thoughts are things, okay? So, and we have this whole big body of thoughts in our unconscious that have been ruminating around for many, many, many years. And we can't even say that they are our thoughts because we don't even know where we've accumulated all this stuff. And many of our thoughts are unexamined. We don't even know where we learned them. We're not conscious all the times of our beliefs. Oftentimes we've just accepted it. It's my grandmother thought, my grandparents, whatever. So we have a lot of things within us that we've never really examined. As you get older, hopefully if you're awake and aware, you do examine your thoughts. You take a look at them. I remember when I had to study philosophy like 3 times in my life, and I remember Socrates, and I remember the idea that the unexamined life is not worth living. And I think he had it, well, I don't know if he did it, but ascribed in the Temple of Delphi was the 2 words, know yourself, or know thyself. So our jobs as spiritual beings, one of our jobs is to be aware and be mindful. Slow down, take that pause. Be mindful of what it is that you're spinning, because we're always spinning something. So learning to be mindful and being mindful of our thoughts and consciousness is a step towards healing. Because if I'm keeping on turning around negativity, and I've got these resentments going on, and I've got a story about this person, girlfriend, boyfriend, parents, job, whoever, all of that stuff, all that negativity, all that opinion is really a much bigger statement about me than it is about any of the people that I'm thinking of. See, you're always creating people to be 1,000 things. And the thing is, these are all your creations. So in this teaching, when we think of all healing being self-healing, we want to bring everything back to ourselves and thinking, okay, I'm Shakespeare. I'm writing the script. I'm describing this person, place, or thing according to the lens that I'm looking with. And so it's never about the other person. As you get into metaphysics, you're going to understand. It's about your perceptions, and you can do something about that, From another book, there's an old saying, I could see peace instead of this. You have the ability to see anything in a different way if you want to, right? Or you could be stuck on a story. And that's like being stuck on stupid. And I hate to say that because it sounds rough. But, you could just be stuck and you just be spinning and spinning. And, where's that going to take you or me, right? So as soon as I start saying somebody did this to me and ain't it awful and poor me, then I've just completely given my power away. I'm missing the boat. So we are cause to our own experience, which means I can create a life to be beyond anyone's dreams. And I don't need anybody's permission. It's just like that poem, She Just Let Go. Well, he can just create the kind of life he wants to, and so can you. Now, you have the ability to do that. You live in a world that responds to you. So in today's talk, we're going to talk about the importance of releasing the need for any and all of this stuff that might be underneath the surface that's holding us back. I wanted to mention that we start off by saying life can be very difficult, and we acknowledge it's tough for people, and people are in pain. It's a time where some of the countries on the planet are at war, and it's a war, and it's difficult to witness. There's pain, there's fear in our lives, there's loneliness. This is post-COVID. People have gotten a little older and they're more fearful, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening. And the thing is, you can't deny the facts, but the other side of the coin, it doesn't have to be true for you. I mean, you are the author of your own experience. You can get out there and you can create an exciting life for yourself. Last week's Sunday talk, Barker was telling us to start making some new friendships. Younger people, other people, stop sitting home and just doing the same old. And that was particularly good for Barker because he was an older person then, and he didn't have any intention of getting older. He had an intention of getting more involved. And it's pretty good advice. You could be thinking, I'm thinking of anybody who listens to this talk in the country, isolated. You could be thinking you're alone and nobody loves you, nobody cares. You could be thinking you're out of shape. You could be thinking your health isn't what you'd like it to be. You could be thinking that your money supply is not what you'd like it to be. You could be thinking all these things, and then the next thought is, and it's too late, and it's in all these things. And if you're doing that, you're kind of like feeding the beast. And as you come into this teaching, we teach you that all the power there is available to you right now, and you can turn it all around right now. You can change that inner dialogue around right now. It's always important to get a handle on that inner dialogue. As we become aware of what we're saying or what we're spinning inside of our minds, what stories we're perpetuating, the things that we keep on talking about over and over again, we come to realize that we can turn anything around. Chuck C., an author that I was fond of when I was younger, wrote a book entitled A New Pair of Glasses. And his whole suggestion is put on a new pair of glasses. Find a way to see this all differently. The universe will support every single move you make toward healing. A little hint I'll give you, and I learned this from Edwina Gaines years ago, keep looking to see the good. Challenge yourself to see the good in everything. Say, I could see peace instead of this. I could see good instead of this. Look to see the good or the God in every situation because it is always there. You and I have an internal guidance system, if you want to call it that. And it's always there wooing me and inspiring you. So let it guide you. We go to great lengths to drown out spirit, but spirit is always there moving within you, attempting to heal and attempting to get you to step up and step out of these situations that are not life-giving. So we've got this powerful process, this guidance that's in us, wooing us, urging us. And now I'm introducing tonight the idea of affirmative prayer, and this is something you can actually do. This process involves releasing or clearing the thoughts or thought patterns, negativity or negation that you have. Wherever you have negative stuff spinning, you can bring in affirmative prayer. You can bring in affirmative prayer to release the pattern and replace the pattern. We are engaged and determined in this teaching to clear our thought patterns of doubt, clear our thought patterns of fear, clear our thought patterns of lack, limitation. And as we do this, we cause ourselves to understand that there is really one spirit, one energy. Not two, but one. There is one life, one energy that we're all a part of. Spirit, or this energy, is all that there is. So we're training ourselves to look away from the problem areas of our life. Not to say we don't acknowledge them being there, but we look beyond them to know that there's a greater reality than the problem. So it's important first to realize, this conversation, pay attention to the conversation you're having. I ask that question every Thursday. What is that conversation that you're having with the most important person in the world? Because the most important person in the world has got to be you in your life, right? And if you're communicating, ain't it awful and poor me, and, somebody done me wrong, and if you keep doing that, which is certainly your prerogative to do, it won't take you any place you want to go. It just won't take you wherever you want to go. So this could be thought of as an important conversation, a sacred conversation you're having. And you can either be digging your own hole with it, with your internal dialogue, or you could be stepping yourself out of stuff until you're stepping right into the light. And I'm here to encourage everybody to step right into the light and realize that you have everything you need and you always have. So this is an important conversation you're having every week, because this dialogue is the one that creates your life. This is the conversation that matters most and what is mirrored in your life. So what's it like being you? Is it sore? Is it scary? Is it wonderful? Be honest with yourself. Are you loving yourself? Do you find new ways to say, I love you, I approve of you? Louise used to say, self-acceptance and self-approval are the keys to everything. And she would say, never, never, never criticize yourself. So we want to release the need to belittle ourselves and release the need to beat up on ourselves or compare ourselves to other people. As you think about it, is there anything in your life that you want to change? Is it, the way you look? Is it the way you act? Is it the way you cling on to things? Is it the way you don't trust? What comes up for you? What do you think you could change? Is there something in your life that you want to change? You might be saying, well, I need to get my act together. I need more harmony. I need more peace. Some people are in very difficult relationships. They're hell with themselves. I know a few people, not only can't they maintain relationships with other people, they have a terrible relationship with themselves. And I feel bad about it. I remember being taught in 1980, 2 lines. Misery is optional, that's one. And then Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, suffering is not God ordained. And then Ralph Waldo Emerson said a similar statement. He said, the finite alone, that's us, the finite alone has wrought and suffered, while the infinite is laying there in smiling repose. In other words, the infinite is there waiting for us to wake up. And wake up and realize all is well, as Louise would say. Wake up and realize everything is good, and take a pause and breathe in, this connectedness and the realization that we're one with life and everything is fine. But that's not the experience most people have. Most people are living in reaction and resentment. Well, I don't say everybody's living it, but there's a lot of action and reaction going on, and resentment, and a lot of storytelling. Storytelling like, I'm not good enough, I'm too old, I'm not competent, I'm not whatever. All those places where you say you're not. Everything after where you say you're not, it's going to be a big lie, a big fib. So we're in a time of radical change, and you're in a class that's all about you embracing the change and learning to love yourself and releasing the need to be critical. If you were working with affirmative prayer, we start out by recognizing and knowing that there's one power, one energy in the world. And we take the time to internalize that. So we maybe slow it down. And we meditate a little bit, and then we come to, there is one energy, there's one divine love, one source, and that source is in me. And you sit and you dwell in that. And then you're going to declare, I'm prosperous, and I'm harmonious, and I'm peaceful. And, if you've meditated a bit long enough and you bring yourself to a place of connection where you know that you're one with this one, it'll be very easy for you to say those things because they will ring very true. And if something comes up within yourself, that's really good in a way, because if something comes up that says, you're not that, you're something less, there's an opportunity for you to, right there in that prayer process, in that affirmative process, to say something comes up that says, oh no, you're really crappy, you're no good, you're not good enough. There's your opportunity right there to refute that negative state of consciousness. And then I say, no, I release the need to think that I'm bad. I release the need to think that I'm inadequate. I release the need to be critical of myself. And then you go right back in and you reaffirm the truth. I am one with the one. I am as God created me. In the light, the love, and the glory, I am good, I'm whole, I'm complete. This is the approach. You start out with a recognition, a meditation of the divine fact that you are one with the one. You live, move, and have your being in this divine life, and it responds to you. And then you declare, I am supplied and supported, I'm whole and complete, I'm prosperous, I'm healthy. And whatever comes up that would be the opposite of that, which would be the false idea, then you're going to cancel that idea, you're going to neutralize that idea, and you're going to replace the negative with the positive. And you might say, I release the need to think this way, and then you go in and you replace it with the truth. So this is the work. The work is getting a handle on the dialogue that goes on within you. And to realize that, God hasn't made junk. You are a person who's internalized a lot of information, just like I have and everybody else. And the only person that really can bring you to that higher place is going to be you. You're the person who can step up and step out of it and step into a different world where everything reflects the light that you are now experiencing of yourself. You've long heard people say the kingdom of God is at hand, and it is. Everything you're ever looking for is available to you. So the thing is, you want to take that pause that refreshes, and slow down and realize how great you are. Get a handle on that conversation and all conversations, because your outer life is always going to be a reflection of your inner life. So I think that will be it. And I want to hear what you all have to say about the subject of releasing the need for any and all of these conditions. And we'll see you in just a moment. Thank you.